Hi, welcome back. So yesterday I was talking to you about your wealthy mind and how wealth is an inside job and you have to believe you're wealthy first. Today I want to talk about your financial limits. Now I don't believe there are financial limits. We all hear about the glass ceiling. You know where the glass ceiling is? It's in here. It's in your mind. There isn't a glass ceiling, and if there is, you can break through it. But many of us have a glass ceiling. We have what I call our financial upper limit. That is the most money we think we could ever earn. We set these limits very early on. And then once we believe we have a limit, if we think we're going to go past it, we actually sabotage ourselves. We start to stop. We start to pull back. We start to keep that limit out there. It's what I call the tall poppy syndrome, and here's why. Many years ago, you survived by belonging to a tribe. If the tribe liked you and you liked them, you were going to survive because you would look after each other. And we like people who are like us. We all come onto the planet with one belief. I must survive. In order to survive, I must find connection. I must avoid rejection. And how do we connect? We find people that are like us, and we share our vulnerabilities with them. And in our psyche, we know that we're wired to survive by connecting to people who are like us. So when we start to think of our financial limit and going past it, all these fears pop up. Well, I won't be like these other people. They might reject me. I won't be like the tribe. I won't fit in. I won't belong. It won't be the same. And then comes the sabotage. So you have a ceiling limit in your mind, which I call the financial upper limit, the most you think you can ever earn. And when you get close to that, and when you're likely to go past it, some of us sabotage ourselves. We go into self-destruct because we stop, we put off, we delay the fear that, oh, if all that happens, I'll be alone. And once upon a time, you died from being alone. Now you don't. Still not a great idea to be alone. So I want to ask you a question. What is your financial upper limit? The most you think you could earn in a year. The most you think you should earn in a year. What is the most you think you could ask for before you begin to think, well, that's wrong, that's greedy, no one should have that amount of money. And again, that same old belief, if I have all that money, someone else doesn't have all that money. So think of your financial limit, but remember something, your potential expands as you move towards it. And often we start with a price. This is how much I want to earn. This is what I'm going to price my product at. And then when we get very comfortable and used to that, we decide, no, I can ask for more now. This product's worth more. I'm worth more. Your potential expands as you move towards it. You can never, ever know what your potential is because as you move towards it, it expands. But I want you to think of this answer. What is your financial limit? The upper limit, the very most you think you could or should earn. Go to your workbook and write that number down. Write it down now. And now I want you to treble it, not double it, treble it. That may sound wild and crazy, but by trebling your fixed upper limit, you've already broken it. You see, we have fixed habits of thought. We have fixed habits of belief, and we have a fixed belief of how much money we could or should or ought to earn or deserve to earn. And I don't want anything to be fixed. It should be fluid. It should change. So for instance, if you're a coach, you can have a fixed price, but you may adapt that for people who can't afford it. You may trade things. I do that all the time. I charge my clients who can afford it a high fee, and my clients who can't, or children, I charge them less, or I may barter for something completely different, and I feel very comfortable doing that. And my wealthy clients don't mind that because they're subsidizing people that can't afford it. And that feels right, a bit like companies like Tom's where you buy a pair of shoes and they give a pair of shoes to someone else. Really, you're buying 2 pairs of shoes, and you know that, and I know that, but it feels good. So now you've doubled your fixed upper limit. Just be aware of how you feel. You probably think like things like, well, that's crazy. I couldn't earn that. No one can earn that. I feel uncomfortable earning that. Stay with the uncomfort, the discomfort. Let's make the uncomfortable very, very comfortable. Sit with the discomfort you feel. You've just trebled your fixed upper limit. Why do you feel uncomfortable? What is that feeling telling you? Remember I said before, feel the feeling until it no longer requires to be felt. If that feeling had a voice, what would it say? I can tell you what it would say, but I want you to get your own voice. You don't deserve that. That's too much money. No one deserves that much money. That's outrageous. Why do you think you could earn that? There are people starving all over the world. It's greedy. Now you're becoming a greedy, ruthless person. You've traded your soul for money. And you and I know that isn't true. So you have a fixed upper limit, fixed habits of thought, fixed belief, and a fixed belief about how much money you can earn. You've learned that when you get close to that fixed upper limit or could exceed it, many of you go into sabotage. You pull back, you stop yourself because of a fear. If I make all that money, I'll be different, I'll be alone, I'll be separate, I won't be connected to the tribe, I won't belong to my community, I'll be on my own. The tall poppy syndrome says the poppy that stands out must be cut down, as everyone must be the same. And that isn't true. You don't live in a tribe. We live in a multicultural society where we're different. We're the same, but we're different. We don't look the same anymore. We're not all uniform. So you've also understood that there are an enormous amount of fears of having more money than you ever thought possible. And I'm telling you, stay with that fear. Look at that fear, and then we can move on. So let's go to your workbook. And I want you to write out, what are you scared of? What's your fear about having so much money? I can promise you it'll be people won't like me, or bad things will happen to me, or something else will suffer. And you have to look at that fear and say, why am I believing that? Is that really true? Is that true for every wealthy person in the whole world, that when they've had money, bad things have happened? Of course it isn't true. It's a belief, but our beliefs feel so real. And we play small because we're scared of change. We play small because we need to fit in. We play small because we like our comfort zone. We like what is familiar. It's time for you to play big. So stay with your exercise book and write out, what do you fear? Are these fears real, or do they exist in your imagination? Is what you're fearing really true, or just something you're projecting? And then I want you to write out something else. How can you help other people if you're poor? Poor people do help people all the time. They offer them food, they offer them comfort, they offer them support. It isn't that poor people can't help. Of course they can, and they do. However, how much would your capacity to help grow if you were abundant, if you could give more, if you had more free time to do more? So here's another question to write out. If you were wealthy, how would that help you to serve others? If you had unlimited wealth, how would that enable you to serve others? As you have unlimited wealth, because remember we're talking in the present sense, as I have unlimited wealth, how can I use my unlimited wealth to help others? Write down the answer. How am I using my unlimited wealth to serve and benefit others? Write it out as if it's happening in your life today. Smash that glass ceiling. Burst through that upper limit that is only fixed in your imagination. Unfix it. Burst through it, smash through it, shatter it. And the more reasons you have for doing that, the more good will come of you making more and more money. The more that blueprint becomes so real, the more your mind works to make it work for you. So write out the answers to these questions. Who are you? Why are you here? What is your message? What is your gift? Who are you here to impact? Who are you here to serve? The more answers you can write out, the more you are really tuning that blueprint, fine-tuning it so your mind says, yes, this is what you want. Your mind's job is to take you to what you want, and your job is to make sure your mind knows with no room for misinterpretation. You must let your mind know with clarity, precision, and accurately what you want. That's your job. And then your mind will do its job. Like a laser, it will take you to whatever you want. Write out those answers. Share everything with your tribe. Let them share with you. I will see you tomorrow when we are covering becoming truly wealthy. See you then.